Today we're making a custom patch to go on a varsity jacket. I have two pieces of cutaway stabilizer hooped up on a mighty hoop, and it's laying down the placement stitch. After it lays down a placement stitch, the machine is going to stop and allow me to put on a piece of fabric. In this instance, I'm using tackle twill that I got from Stalls, and you're going to see me put magnets on the sides of my mighty hoop to hold the tackle twill in place. This step is not necessary. I could have used my right hand to hold it in place because tackle twill is very sturdy, kind of, sort of. I'm going to hit start, and it's going to put down the tack down stitch. Placement stitch first, then pause, then tack down stitch, because it's tacking down the actual tackle twill fabric. After it's done tacking down the tackle twill fabric, I'm going to remove my magnets, and then I'm going to take my hoop out of the machine, and then we're going to go over to our table and start cutting away the excess fabric. Now, excess fabric, however you say that. Now, with this step, you want to get as close as possible to that tack down stitch without cutting the actual tack down stitch. Now, how close you get is going to depend on how thick you made your satin stitch, which is going to cover up the edge where you are cutting. If you made a thin satin stitch, then you want to get really close, because if not, it's going to show the edges of where you cut. If you made a thick satin stitch like I did, then it's going to be a little bit more forgiving, and it's not going to show the if you didn't get that close to the edge. But I'm trying to get as close as possible because you just want to be neat. Just want to be neat when you're doing this stuff. So after you're done, you're going to get something like that. Take it over to the machine, and let's go ahead and embroider it. Now we're going to place it into our embroidery machine, and everything should be in place. You just hit start, and then it's going to proceed with the rest of the design. It's going to go around one more time because that's how I have it programmed, digitizing. And then after it goes around all the way one rotation, you're going to see it start embroidering the satin stitch. Alright, and the satin stitch is going to cover around the edges of the entire design. See, it started right there. Alright, nice thick satin stitch covering up and making it like a connection between the edges of the design and the cutaway backing right there. Alright, sorry, I'm fumbling over my words. So after it's done doing that, I'm just going to go ahead and embroider out the rest of the design onto the actual tackle twill, and just let it embroider the rest of the design. You can see it coming together very nicely, exactly how I wanted it to. And shout out to 9-5 Kitchen and Bar, by the way. Alright, and after it's done, you're going to have something that looks like this. You see I'm going to have to cut out some tails, kind of make some adjustments on my machine. And after it's done, you just take your hoop out of the machine, and then you get ready to cut away the design. Now I'm using freight check, and I'm going to use freight check, and I'm going to put freight check around the edges of the entire design. What freight check does is freight check acts as glue, right? It's a substance that acts like glue. So you're going to lay down freight check around the very edge and let it dry. And after you let it dry, you cut around the edge, and you can cut really close, and in case you accidentally trim any of the satin stitch, it's going to check the fray. It's going to make sure it does not fray because it's acting as a glue to keep those edges together. Alright, makes sense? Fray check. Alright, fray check 101. And you see I went around twice to make sure that I had enough fray check on my entire design. Then I'm going to take it out of the mighty hoop so we can go ahead and start trimming the edge. Alright, now you're going to grab, I'm using the same scissors in this whole thing, and you're going to grab your scissors and you're going to go ahead and start trimming out your patch. This is the tedious part. Alright, especially if you're making like 50 patches and stuff like that, which I'm not. I'm just making one. I gotta make one small one to go on the front and one big one to go on the back. Alright, so get really, this is where you want to get really close, you know, without cutting the actual satin stitch. It gets really close. And in some instances, if your scissors is sharp enough, it'll just glide along the edge. But this is where you want to get really close. If you have a laser, you can actually cut a perimeter about 1/4 of an inch away, and you can have like a patch that has like a border, if you will. All right, on purpose, right? So after you're done cutting out your patch, you see I'm approaching the end right here. I did a pretty good job, I think so. You're gonna have something that looks kind of like this right here. All right. Now a good thing to do is to match your border with your stabilizer, which I didn't do. I didn't have any black stabilizer left, so I use white stabilizer. Got to use what you want. In a case like me, when you have white stabilizer with a black border, markers are your friend. All right, so you see me taking, this is actually a dry eraser marker. You can use a Sharpie, it's more permanent. But, you know, take a marker that's the same color of your satin stitch, and you can cover up that white edge to give you a cleaner, more professional look, you know, to neaten up those edges right there. You see me just going around the whole edge, giving you guys a lot of gems, a lot of tips and tricks here. Go around the whole edge and go ahead and you know, fill in, color in that white so that it gives you a nice black seamless border, and then you're good to go, you know. After you're done, you're gonna get something that looks like this right here. Alright, see that? See that? Looks good. Yeah, I know. Now it's time to figure out how we're gonna adhere to the jacket. Alright, so this is how you create the iron-on patch. I got some, I'm just going to use the universal term heat and bond, but it's not the heat and bond brand. Alright, I got this stuff from Alibaba, from overseas. I might have got it from Amazon, to be honest, but it's just like heat and bond. It's a little bit stronger though. So right now I'm gonna I placed my design face side down, and I grabbed a piece of film that I used from a transfer that I transferred, and I put the adhesive on the back of it with the sticky side, or the adhesive side, facing the back of my patch. And I'm going to grab, I'm looking for another piece of transfer film, but I couldn't find it, so I just used my Teflon sheet right there. And you only got to, now I'm placing the design in the middle of my heat press so it can get some good heat. And what I was saying is, you only have to hit it for a few seconds, normal pressure, hit it for a few seconds, and the glue is going to adhere to the back of the patch. And then you pretty much got an iron-on patch, but there's a few things you got to do. You got to let this thing cool, right? You see it's stuck there now, it's not moving, right? Now you have to let it cool, and after you let it cool, you can peel it off like I'm doing right now. You peel it off, and now you got your iron-on patch on the thing. You still have to remove it, and you have to pry it because that whole edge right there has glue. And you'll see right here, as I peel it off, you'll see all the glue that's stuck to the sheet. So you're going to get like a square, the shape of the sheet. And now you're just going to pull away the extra. See me pulling that away? And after you pull it away, you have your iron-on patch right there. So just go along the edge. This is the fun part, actually. It's like playing with Play-Doh. Remember we used to play with, no, we used to play with glue in elementary school, and let it dry and roll it around in a ball, and you get the consistency of this right here. So now after you get all the edges off, you actually have your iron-on patch. See? Iron-on patch, and the back is going to, you can see it has that shiny back. That's the iron-on part. And you see how good the front looks right there. Flip it to the back, and you see the reflective iron-on patchness. Alright, so that's how you make an iron-on patch. Now you guys know how to make an iron-on patch. I have several videos, well, I have like 1 or 2 videos on this channel that I made, man, over 6-7 years ago on how to make an iron-on patch, but they're dug deep in the channel. So, you see me have, I got a bunch of tape on the front of the Varsity jacket, bunch of heat tape to hold the design in place. You guys will see later that this didn't work, but you got to try different things. In your business, you're going to find that your #1 job is to find solutions, right? Find out how to do things, because all the information is not readily available out there for you. So we got my children's platen on this heat press, and I'm going to try to adhere it.
This jacket is just so big. Lay this down like here, and already just too much jacket. I might have to do this with like a hand press or something, but the easiest thing would be to get this to work right here. So let me try to figure out a way to finesse it. Maybe if I spin it around. Because the patch is right here. I can feel it, it's right here. But I don't want this to, I kind of want this off the press. So let me bring it around like this and hang this off. Like that. Alright. And maybe I can just press this right here. Yeah, like that. Okay, but I want to make sure it's straight. It's off a little bit, but alright. Boom. 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 I'm gonna get a pressing pillow for this one. Get a pressing pillow. Because I want this to go up and touch the heat. So boom. 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 Right here. Alright, so now I'm gonna just touch it with this. One, two. Alright. Doesn't take much. Just want to heat up that glue. That's all it really takes. Let me see. Yeah. It adhered a little bit. Wait. Some of the tape went down below.
So you see it didn't work.
Don't want that. Don't want none of that. So it didn't melt. So we gotta press it again. But I want to get the tape off of, I don't want the tape down below. So it kinda went on, but definitely did not go on. I'm just trying to avoid having to make the patch again on the jacket. I think I'm just gonna sew it on because it's not adhering. It adhered slightly.
Alright, you see it didn't work, so like I said, you gotta find out solutions when you have your business. So I went old school and just started sewing it on. This isn't exactly old school, this is actually the proper way to do it because it's more permanent. And the good thing about sewing is if you make a mistake, it's just a single stitch and you can just take it out. Here's a close-up for you guys so you can see how I'm running my Brother SE600. I'm not using the presser foot, I'm using the actual button on the machine, and I have it on very, very slow mode. This is not slow motion. This is exactly the speed my machine is going, and I'm pressing the start and stop button with my thumb, and when I press it, I just go ahead and position my jacket and then press start again, and let's see, I press with my pointer finger this time and just slowly go around the whole patch so that it can sew down on the machine. That's the thing I like about the SE600. You can control the speed and it goes really, really, really slow. and to the point where it's very, very manageable and very, very easy to put stuff on. But big bulky varsity jackets, you do have issues as far as the bulkiness of the jacket with articulating it around the machine. And right here you see it's hard to get it off because of thickness. And there you have the jacket all done. Looks good to me. Now it's time to do the back. Yep, looks good. There we go. All done, guys, with the front.